So, what does it actually mean to travel when your resources are, for all intents and purposes, unlimited? I mean, forget first class, forget even private jets. Today, we're diving into what it takes to move a modern day monarch around the globe. And trust me, the logistics are more staggering than you could ever imagine. So, let's just start with that question. When you think of a world leader traveling, you probably picture Air Force One, a nice motorcade, right? But for the King of Saudi Arabia, that's barely the warm-up act. We're talking about an operation on a scale that completely redefines what travel even is. Honestly, it's less of a trip and more like a full-blown migration. Okay, get this. For a single 9-day tour of Asia, King Salman's luggage, just his luggage, weighed in at a reported 506 tons. Just let that number sit there for a second. That is over 1 million pounds of cargo. This isn't just a case of overpacking. This is a logistical masterpiece on a level most militaries would envy. To really wrap your head around what 506 tons actually looks like, let's paint a picture. Imagine a line of 300 cars, or picture a herd of 240 fully grown elephants. If you want to think in military terms, how about 15 M4 Sherman tanks? That's the kind of weight we are talking about for one diplomatic visit. It's just wild. So you have to be asking, what on earth is in all that cargo? Well, the list of essentials is where things get truly, truly unbelievable. You've got 2 armored Mercedes limousines, his favorite carpets, and golden furniture to make any hotel feel exactly like his palace back home, and my personal favorite, 2 personal custom-built golden escalators. This isn't luggage, this is a mobile kingdom. To really get the feel for this level of extravagance, let's zoom in on one specific moment. Picture this. It's 2017, and King Salman is making a historic visit to Moscow, the first ever for a Saudi monarch. The world's media is all gathered on the tarmac, cameras ready, just waiting for this grand regal arrival. So the door of his private Boeing 747 opens, and out rolls this magnificent golden escalator. It's gleaming. The king steps onto it, beginning his grand ascent. But then, about a third of the way down, right there in front of everyone, it just stops. A technical glitch. After this really awkward pause, there was only one thing left to do. King Salman, a man who famously travels with his own elevator specifically to avoid stairs, had to just walk the rest of the way down. You know, it's this incredibly rare, humanizing moment that just proves that even with all the money in the world, sometimes you just have to take the stairs. So, okay, that story gives you a little taste, right? But how in the world do you actually move a mobile kingdom across entire continents? Well, the logistics themselves are a spectacle, requiring coordination on a military scale. See, the king doesn't just have one plane, he has an entire fleet. On that Asia tour we mentioned, his 1,500-person entourage needed at least 9 separate passenger jets. And for all that cargo, they just used military transport planes. For his visit to Indonesia, it took 36 separate flights over weeks just to get everyone and everything there ahead of time. Now, the king's personal plane, this is where things get even crazier. A regular Boeing 747 can fit, up to 600 passengers? Well, the royal version is completely gutted and transformed into a literal palace. We're talking plush carpets, gold-plated fixtures everywhere, private suites with full bathrooms. There's even an onboard mini-hospital. It's a 5-star hotel and a secure command center, all at 40,000 feet. And this level of opulence doesn't stop when the plane lands. Not at all. Most VIPs, they might book a few suites. King Salman books the entire Four Seasons or Ritz-Carlton, sometimes for weeks. He flies in his own furniture to literally redecorate the place and hires up to 10,000 security personnel. He doesn't adapt to the destination adapts to him. This kind of spending is it's mind-boggling, right? And it all begs one big question. Where does all this money come from? Well, the answer lies with one of the most powerful and secretive families on the entire planet. Say hello to the House of Saud. This is the ruling family of Saudi Arabia, and it's made up of an estimated 15,000 members. Now, the real power and, of course, the wealth are concentrated among a much, much smaller group. Their collective fortune is almost impossible to accurately calculate, but pretty much every estimate puts it firmly in the trillions. Yep, that's right. The most cited estimates put the family's net worth at around $2 trillion. That is a 2 followed by 12 zeros. This absolutely colossal fortune is the engine that powers everything we're talking about, from golden escalators to billion-dollar megacities in the desert. So, where does that fortune come from? Well, it's really no secret. The overwhelming majority, the lion's share, comes from Saudi Aramco, the state-owned oil giant and the world's largest oil producer. Having control of Aramco gives the family unparalleled financial power, which they then diversify through a massive sovereign wealth fund and countless private investments all over the globe. And it's so important to get this. This level of spending isn't just for a big foreign tour. No, it's woven into the very fabric of daily life for the senior royals. It is a lifestyle of truly, truly unparalleled luxury. Back at home, the king doesn't just live in one palace. He rotates between several magnificent, sprawling complexes. You've got the official headquarters at Al Yamama Palace, the breathtakingly opulent Urga Palace, which is valued at $500 million, and the historically priceless Al Aja Palace. Each one of these is a world unto itself. And this lifestyle of just lavish spending is absolutely being carried on by the next generation, most notably by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, often known as MBS. This quote really gets straight to the point. He's famous for pouring that oil money into ventures, properties, and some of the most exclusive parties ever thrown. His personal shopping list is just staggering. A $500 million super yacht that he reportedly bought on an impulse, the world's most expensive painting, a Lost da Vinci, the world's most expensive home, a French chateau near Versailles. And these are just side projects compared to his main vision, Neom, a planned $500 billion futuristic city. And about those parties? Oh boy. For one month-long bash, MBS reportedly rented an entire private island in the Maldives for $50 million. He flew in performers like Pitbull, and to make sure everything was top secret, all the staff had their smartphones taken away. The wildest part? He even had a snow machine brought in to create an artificial blizzard on a tropical beach. But look, this kind of extravagance, whether it's at home or abroad, it doesn't just happen in a bubble. It draws intense public scrutiny and can sometimes create some pretty serious friction with the very people the royals are visiting. Take this incident from 2015, for example. During a vacation on the French Riviera, a public beach was completely closed off for the king's security. Okay, that was controversial enough. But then, work crews came in and poured concrete directly onto the sand to build a temporary private elevator from his villa down to the shore. It sparked a petition signed by over 100,000 angry locals. And that really brings us to our final thought here. This level of wealth literally transforms the world around you. Hotels get redecorated on a whim, public beaches are privatized, entire fleets of aircraft are summoned at a moment's notice. It all makes you wonder, when you can buy absolutely anything, when you can physically reshape the world to suit your every desire, what's left? What becomes the ultimate luxury?